Well, Andy, thanks very much indeed for sparing time for us today. Let's start at where you are, first of all. Whereabouts are you?
Good morning, Alan. I'm in Beirut. I'm about 45 minutes away from the Bekaa Valley in Lebanon, where Media is working with refugee families from Syria.
So how many people have come across the border into Lebanon from Syria?
In the last year, over 300,000 people, have come across from Syria. Lebanon's a country of 4 million people, just a little bit smaller than New Zealand. So it's been an overwhelming number for the country here, with so many families arriving every day.
So what's the reaction that the Lebanese people are giving to the people who are crossing over? Because as you say, it must be a strain on their resources.
The Lebanese people have been fantastic. And when the first wave of refugees started coming about 18 months ago, the Lebanese people here, many families opened their homes and invited refugees to come live with them. But as the conflict has continued, and as more and more people have come from Syria, it really has overwhelmed the local population here. Some families have been feeding Syrian families for well over a year, and just the strain on them to feed these extra mouths has become huge. And yes, as more and more families have arrived, there's just nowhere else for these new arrivals to go, unfortunately.
So what's the scale of the operation that you're involved with?
Well, we're part of a large humanitarian effort here to trying to respond. To be completely honest, Alan, it's been really overwhelming, and we all feel that we're far further behind where we need to be responding to so many needs. Media itself is doing its best to work with families living in makeshift shelters and tents in the Bekaa Valley. As I say, there's just nowhere for these families to go, so they've been forced to live in shelters that they've made themselves out of plastic and vinyl. And we've been focusing our efforts in this little area here, just trying to make sure that these families are warm over the winter months, and blankets and mattresses, but also have materials to make these shelters properly waterproof.
So if they're heading to conditions like that, what must the conditions be like that they're leaving if this is an improvement?
Yeah, it's the stories we're hearing as people arrive here are pretty terrible, what they are fleeing from in Syria. Yeah, families really have been ripped apart, and they wouldn't be making this exodus to Lebanon if it wasn't a real case of urgency to get out of Syria. Yeah, just the devastation in that country is terrible. So despite the cold and despite the fact they have nowhere to go when they come to Lebanon, they're making the decision to come here because it's still a safer place for them to be.
Well, we've spoken to political experts and analysts over here who say that the conflict in Syria is deep-seated and very difficult to work out who is right and who is wrong. Are you aware of the political unrest that's there?
I mean, we are, yes. What we're trying to do, though, with the families we're working with is not really explore too many reasons why they've come. We just recognize that they have huge vulnerabilities that need to be addressed. From what I understand, there is no easy solution to Syria, and it could be quite some time before families can go home. But we do know, just from talking to many people, many refugees, that they do desire peace. These are families who do want to go home. They want to return to their lives in Syria and be part of the rebuilding of Syria. They don't want to be refugees. They just really desire to have a place where their children and their families can live in safety. And so we want to support them here as long as we have to. But for Media, we do hope that one day these families can go home and live in security.
And the people in the camps who want to go back to Syria, what's their mood? Do you sense that they feel that there is a hope and that they will go back one day?
I always get really encouraged by spending time with the children in these camps and these communities. The children are just fantastic. The children laugh and they play and they're acting as you would expect kids to do. You know, they're making friends, and that to me shows that there's still hope. You know, these kids are still vibrant and full of life, and it's tough on their parents, but parents desire for their children to have great lives and have good futures. And I think, just the fact that parents see the hope in their kids and want to do the best for them, I think that to me says that there's hope here, that there is there is confidence that things can improve, which is wonderful to see and experience.
It's very difficult for us in this country. I mean, most of our information is coming through the news media, and we see a situation that appears to be insoluble. We see the huge crowds of refugees. What can we do in this country?
It's great to be talking to a Christian broadcaster, because we really would ask first and foremost that people are praying for the situation here, praying for these families, because it really is at a magnitude that it's beyond our own resources as humans to respond. We need a miracle, I think, to really bring peace to Syria and to give these families hope. So for people to pray would be really appreciated. But also, if they wanted to financially support the work that is going on here, we would really appreciate that. It would allow us to do a lot of good, to help a lot of families improve their shelters, keep them warm, and just while they're here in Lebanon, just to give them some protection, so that they know that, yeah, they have a place here while the conflict continues.
Andy, it's been great to talk to you. Thank you very much for sparing time for us. I know you're very busy, so we'll let you get back to work. We'll be thinking of praying for you. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much, Alan. Nice to talk to you.
Alan Lee talking there with MEDE's Communications Officer Andrew Robinson in Beirut, Lebanon. And you can find out more information on these websites. relief.mede.org/en has regular updates about the crisis and what they're doing about it. And on this website, which is MEDE's New Zealand partner, Tearfund New Zealand, you can donate directly to MEDE by clicking here. And that's to support relief work for the Syrian refugee crisis.